Okay, so this is my paint mixing bench. I've got a rack with some primer. These are old tints that came off of an interior business. I just kind of kept the tints on there. Like you could paint your interior orange or yellow or whatever, I don't know. This rack I was supposed to give to a friend. Hopefully he comes and gets it at some point. So the first step here is this stuff here, adhesion promoter. Okay, I have it in a spray can, and I also have it in a quart jug, so I can put it in a regular sprayer. What I'm gonna do is, this is such a small project, I'm just gonna use a spray can. So I believe the directions say, see if we can get close enough. I can't read them to the screen. One coat, 5 minutes, let it flash, and then a full wet coat after, and let it sit for 15. So we're just gonna put, basically this is just gonna be like a mist coat, okay? Just to like let the stuff tack on it. See how it's not full wet? Just kind of a mist coat, right? It's just wetting them up a little bit, but not fully wetting. You'll see the next coat I do is gonna be a lot heavier, okay? All right. I might have to get the bigger can out and put it in a gun. I'm not sure I'm gonna have enough to do all of these, which is fine. Just make sure that when you're doing this, you get the adhesion promoter on all the surfaces, basically. You know, how I have these things arranged in here kind of sucks. When I go to paint them, I'm certainly not going to lay them down. I'm going to paint them hanging, most likely, from the paint booth area. I just didn't want to move all the cars around, just to this part. You'll see the primer itself doesn't make a big huge mess. This doesn't make a big huge mess. When you paint, it makes a big huge mess if you do it out like this. You notice I don't have any vehicles taped off or anything. I'm pretty confident that it's not gonna make as big of a mess as if I was painting. So I am using quite a bit of this, so probably gonna wind up doing exactly what I said and put a little in a gun. Now when I put some in a gun, it's gonna make a bigger mess because it's gonna come out with a little bit more force. So I am running out. I like to keep a can of this on hand in case you're making a small repair. You can kind of just dust stuff in here and there with this. I was being lazy. You know what laziness gets you, right? I could probably make it around, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna put some in a can. We'll give it its 5 minutes, and I'll be back. Okay. Okay, so I've got spray gun with small cup, and it's probably about half full. Okay. I just turned the compressor on to run this, obviously, so if the compressor comes on, it might get a little loud. Yeah, so we got one coat, we let it sit 5 minutes. This stuff also, if it comes out of the can, it's what's called ready to spray. So if you ever see RTS on a label, it means ready to spray. So the cool thing about this is if you don't use it all, you can just put it right back in the can. If you're not done with it. Also notice I've got a respirator on. I did not have one on when I had the can. So I'm gonna put it on. This just atomizes more. There's way more pressure coming out. It's gonna cloud up a little bit in here. So just wanna make sure that my lungs are protected. Okay. Probably gonna muffle my voice a little, but yeah, so. You can see it's going on a little thicker. It's also going on a lot more even, obviously. The gun has a much better atomization rate than a can. But you can see it just clouding the air up in here. I was trying to avoid that. I guess I could turn the gun down just a little.
There. And it'll even put a little bit more material on too. Nice and wet. You want to get good coverage on this stuff. This is really what's going to help the primer, the paint, whatever you're putting on stick. So, all right, pause there for a sec. Okay, I ran out of paint, so back at it. Alright, one last little bit here, and hopefully that'll be good. Alright, you can see there's quite a cloud in here now. I'm going to try to open the door, let some of this out. We'll see if the air will flow. So, at this point I have 15 minutes. Let it sit. This is probably, you know, it'll be done a little bit faster. It's gonna flash off and dry, soak right into the plastic and help with adhesion. And you can see it's raining out there now. That stinks. So I'm probably, while I'm putting the slick sand on this, I'm going to set the camera up, because this is a really huge pain in the butt trying to spray and do all that at the same time. So, all right, I'm gonna mix. That's where I'm headed right now. And I'll probably try to set this up so that you guys can see how this mixture works, okay? And I don't have a lot of light over here. My paint booth lights aren't on. So, I don't know if you can see, but I've got a cup just like what we have at school. Lid, liner, the lids are over here, but regardless, so the stuff we're using is slick sand, okay, and like I said, it's very, very thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 16 ounces in, just for ease of measurement, okay, because remember I said for each quart one of the tubes splits up 4 times. So just to give you an idea of what the tubes look like, these are the tubes that come with the slick sand. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. This is, I might have an open one. I usually like to keep one open. It doesn't look like I've done this in a minute, so I haven't used this since last winter. I don't believe I have an open one. So we'll just take that one out right there. And you have to puncture a hole in the top of these. They don't have a hole in them when they come. So you put a hole in the top, and so this splits 4 ways into a quart, right? So if I did 16 ounces, 32 divided by 4 would be 8, right? Okay, so we did 16, so 8 times 2 is 16. So we're gonna use 2 rows here, okay? You kind of just drop this stuff in. That's one. And that's two. Now, I know I've had guys use this stuff in my shops before, and you always wind up using more of this than you intend. But and then they recommend that you thin this stuff out. I like to use just a regular reducer, the Nason cheap special stuff, and I reduce it probably 20%. So we've got 16 ounces in there. 10% of 16 is 1.6 times 2 gets you 20%, right? So that gets you 3.2. Okay, so we're gonna go 3.2 ounces to reduce this out, which is gonna bring us to 19.2. All right, somebody check me. Okay, this is hard doing this myself. You guys always give me the answer. So there's 18, there's 19, and I think that's probably good enough. So the last thing that I caution all of you, if you're ever going to use something like this, like I said, this is an extremely thick primer. So when I use these lids and liners, I always pull the screen out of them, right? So if you've never seen me do this before, you kind of just jam. Oop, I put a hole in that one. Let's not use that one. Maybe a little gentler on the screen this time. Let's jam a hole in them and rip the screen right out, because this screen is so fine that this stuff won't pass through it. It's almost like mud. And then I'll grab a stick, and you'll be able to see how thick this stuff is when I stir it up here. So you always want to stir after you put activator in, right? Because you want to make sure the activator, the reducer, everything gets mixed up really well. But see how thick it is? It's almost like house paint. So I'm gonna put this through my primer gun. It has a 1.8 tip on it, and it's gonna spray it pretty good. I'll open the fan up pretty heavy. When this stuff comes out, it almost looks textured, depending on how you lay it down. It lays real thick. So maybe I'll make the first couple passes with that in my hand. I know said I was gonna put it somewhere. Maybe I'll make the first couple passes so you can see what it looks like, and then I'll set it up and we'll go from there. All right, we're mixed up. I'm gonna put it in my gun. The next thing you'll see is me over there. Okay, so we are over here. I'm gonna hook the gun up, and we're gonna go from there. I didn't disconnect this gun, so I'll probably put one coat on, and we'll go from there. I'll clean that up while it's drying, first coat. So, hang on. Hello. Okay. I know I need to find myself a like a head mount or a chest mount or something, because if I'm gonna start doing these like painting demos, this is not gonna work real well. So I was trying to get my stuff dialed in. You can see it's coming out pretty heavy right now. I think I might let it tone it down just a little. That's pretty good. So I'm gonna buckle my mask on, and we're gonna go from there. Like I said, I'll probably just do these ones on here, and then I'm gonna throw the rest of it in a time lapse for all the coats. That way I can plug it in. The camera's about to die. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys up here, send it into a time lapse. You can see that there's far less in the air running at a lower pressure. This stuff stinks like hell, just to forewarn you guys, if you ever use this stuff, it's really, really terrible. So yeah, I'm gonna time lapse, clean the gun, and we'll go from there, okay? Done spraying. I put 3 coats on. Usually I do 3, sometimes 4, but I was about out and I wasn't gonna mix any more. You can see, you look at it, it's pretty smooth now. Not really textured at all anymore. Of course, it will flatten out. It's still a little wet. This stuff's kind of cool stuff, right? It's like temperature's a little bit dependent on how it dries, but for the most part, because it's activated with that like resin activator, it's gonna get hard regardless. As you can see, primarily all the texture's gone. GMC's still there. The one thing that's gonna stink is these tight lines in these ones, but I'll probably just run a sandpaper down through the middle of them. So this will all get sanded with 400 and then it's pretty much ready to paint. This stuff builds wicked, wicked, wicked thick. So that's it. That's where we're at. It smells like hell in here, so I'm gonna head inside. It's about noon. Gonna grab something to eat and probably go sit up in my room and do some work of some sort. I'll let the smell in here calm down probably the rest of the day. I'll be out here tomorrow. I got a lot of video editing to do. I got one that I gotta finish from yesterday and then this one now, which you might not see until after vacation. I'm not sure whether I'm just gonna keep pumping content out. You guys aren't expected to watch these over vacation, obviously, so, but vacation might be over by the time you hear this. All right, well, that's where I'm at. We're done for today. I'm gonna make more videos over vacation, and because I'm gonna keep moving, I'm not gonna stop working. In fact, I might do more because I don't have to worry about anything else at that point. So, yeah, I might fly a bunch of content out after vacation for sure. Yeah. All right, cool. We'll see you guys. Thank you. Bye.